All right, folks, it is true. XRP is pumping again. Strap yourselves in. It's about 8:30 a.m. on the West Coast, Sunday, July 16th, 2023. God bless all of you. Thank you for joining me. We are back up to about the 70-cent price range for XRP. Little pump this morning on the 4-hour chart, and I'm sorry that this chart is so jacked up. That's what happens when you get these God candle pumps, melt your face pump. And you know, it's funny to me because I put out a video, an XRP warning, and I talked about how, you know, this was the melt your face pump that we were expecting, and that we got a lot of volatility coming in, and a lot of people showing up in the comments saying that this wasn't the melt your face pump. We didn't even break $1. And I'm like, we crashed all of the exchanges. Everybody for, you know, that day was glued to their phone with the O face, just like we warned about, right? Melt your face pump did occur. It shut down all the exchanges. And I think that actually the exchanges going down actually was part of stopping the pump. And then the other thing to realize too is that we have a long ways to go. We just started a whole new life. We opened up a new chapter here, and it's called clarity, and it's called unlocking utility, and it's calling flows of liquidity that haven't been seen yet in the crypto space about to arrive. And so folks really need to understand, zoom out. It's exciting to watch. We got another pump going here once again. Everybody's getting excited here. We could get clean back out down to 50 cents and be prepared for that, okay? Before we make our next move back on up. I'm not a TA expert by any means. I call my TA doofus moron TA. I make fun of myself. And by the way, I still am in my Bitcoin short, full disclosure. I still am in my Bitcoin short through all of this. Through all the excitement, XRP victory, still was in my Bitcoin short, which actually did get back down to my break-even price. And I'm still holding that position for now. So, you know, that's how I do it right here, is we are able to hold two opposing views in our minds here without getting confused on the facts here. The fact remains is that we're about to see a ton of liquidity pour into this asset class, but we only have a couple assets with full clarity. I would say that XRP is the only asset with complete clarity. And for many folks here, you have to understand too, with this price action, when you go back up to 70, 80, or $1, you're back up to, you know, folks break even price. You got folks that were early who catch a 2 or 3x because they loaded up at 40 cents. They loaded up at 30 cents. So 80, 90 cents, they got their 2 to 3x. And so the $5,000 that they put into XRP has turned into 10,000, 15 grand. And we're in the middle of a recession. They lost their job. They can't afford their house. They can't afford their bills. They're running up their food on their credit card bill. And so this is why we're going to see incredible selling pressure coming back, going all the way up. We're going to be climbing the stairs. We're not going to be going up in a straight line, and you really have to understand where folks are at, right? We warned about this time. The exchanges were going to go down, and people were going to be struggling through the recession and the bear market. That's exactly what's playing out right now. Now, what I'm worried about is folks that try to sell out and then buy back in later. I'm really worried about them being able to get back in because these exchanges already having issues, and we didn't even break $1. So just imagine the issues that we're going to have when this thing starts to do what it's really meant to do. But with that being said, guys, XRP back up, you know, Korea, Asia, we're watching on Fiat Leak, tons of XRP flying over there. And you're going to see the market start to open back up for the week. And I think that we're going to see some exciting price action coming this week. Now, let's get right on into the update, guys. Quick one for you guys. Weekly recap on what just took place. First off, U.S. judge rules Ripple XRP is not a security. Gotta love it. U.S. inflation falls to 3%, lower than expectations, which that killed the dollar, right? The DXY dropped off. Bitcoin, cryptos, gold, silver pumped, and then XRP getting clarity also sent it in to a new reality. We also have Europe to launch first spot Bitcoin ETF this month. Okay. And the former SEC chairman says spot Bitcoin ETFs should be approved. So there's still a lot of talk. Larry Fink, you know, said that cryptocurrencies are about to transcend traditional currencies this week. So the Wall Street boys and girls are coming in. Coinbase relists Ripple XRP. That's a massive deal, folks. You guys don't understand. This makes it so easy. So many of the normies, not in the XRP army, have their Coinbase account. They have their crypto.com. They have these other exchanges here in the US that didn't have XRP listed. Now all it takes is clicking one button and they can load up on some XRP where they couldn't before. I mean, you're talking about XRP wallets at, what were they, 4.6 million? This could double over the course of the next year with ease. With ease, right? And so this is a major deal with all these relistings. We are just getting started, folks. Have some patience, okay? I know everybody wants to be at the moon already. We're on our way. Just hold on. And as I said, $9 trillion asset manager BlackRock CEO Larry Fink says crypto will transcend international currencies due to global demand. Yeah, if folks looking for some on-demand liquidity, how do you get it? Well, you get some XRP in your hands. SEC acknowledges BlackRock spot Bitcoin ETF application. SEC acknowledges Fidelity, Van Eck, WisdomTree, and Invesco spot Bitcoin ETF applications. And Bank of America has been ordered to pay $250 million for charging illegal fees and opening credit card accounts without customer consent. We also have the Australian Securities Exchange receives its first spot Bitcoin ETF application. So the Wall Street boys and girls, the banks, Bank of America in particular in this case, getting exposed for their criminal activities. On the other end, though, they're ready to move into a new asset class that is going to transcend, in his own words, traditional currencies. So very exciting stuff as we look at the week ahead, guys. Big events coming up this week. Good, important data like retail sales data coming in on Tuesday, building permit data Wednesday, existing home sales data Thursday. I'm really excited. I'll be doing a real estate update after we get that data. And then we also get the jobless claims data on Thursday. Tesla, Netflix, GameStop, and Microsoft earnings coming in. And maybe that's Goldman Sachs. I don't know if GS is Goldman Sachs or GameStop. But nonetheless, we get about 10% of the S&P 500 report earnings, and we are about 10 days out from the Fed meeting. Earnings season is now in full swing, and the July Fed meeting is in focus. It's going to be a busy couple of weeks. In 2022, our calls made 86%. Kobesi letter keeping us up to date. We do appreciate it. And we're going to be watching closely to see what the Fed does next at this July meeting. Are they going to raise rates again? Now, this is getting interesting, folks. This is definitely not sustainable. Total U.S. government tax revenue in June fell by a massive 9.2% from $461 billion to $418 billion. It's pretty incredible to think that that's how much they're collecting each month. On a TTM basis, tax receipts are down by 7.3%. This is the biggest drop since June 2020, when the U.S. was in complete lockdown, all while spending jumped 15%. What is happening? This is a recession. That's what that is. The tax revenue falling off like that's a recession. That's what this is. Folks don't want to call it that. The mainstream doesn't want to call it that. We've been warning. We've been talking about it. We called it that. We identify our economy as a recession, but the talking heads and the pundits don't want to admit it. But the writing's on the wall. The data confirms. The data confirms our thesis on that. Now, moving on into the crypto stuff, guys, we got digital asset investors sharing this one. Remember Lubin's Token Factory? Did the Ripple ruling just declare that all of those were securities? How many institutions did his token foundry distribute them to? And you look back at what they did, right? And they bragged about all of the ETH whales, right? This whole deal that we've exposed to the XRP community. Great work. Huge shout out to all the sleuths. But it really brings into question with this most recent ruling, how were these sales not securities? If all of the sales by Ripple to institutions were securities, according to Judge Torres, at least that's the part of the case that's going to continue to trial, we're going to get to see how this actually shakes up. And then, how this relates to the rest of the spaces. I think the rest of the space is going to be running for the hills because, many of them know what they did with their ICOs was borderline illegal, but now this is confirming, and this is confirming that the sales to exchanges, not a security, me and you selling, not a security, but when you sell it to institutions with a contract, you have a security contract. That's what the whole Ethereum deal was. And then you look at the 10,000 plus ERC20 tokens that were built on top of that, and how many of those ICO'd. It's pretty incredible. So we move on in, though. This gets exciting, guys, because you got to remember these past relationships and partnerships that we had where people were using XRP, but then the lawsuit dropped and they stopped using XRP, right? It wasn't just exchanges that had it listed for me and you, Joe Blow, to use it. We had partnerships like MoneyGram where they were actually using XRP for cross-border payments, having tremendous success, but then the lawsuit forced them to stop using it. So Ripple Van Winkle asked the question, MoneyGram, when are you going to re-enable XRP for back-end treasury management plus ODL into Mexico and other corridors? XRP is not a security. And that's the thing right now, guys, is that we got to understand folks are worried about institutions being able to fire up ODL, not being able to get XRP. A lot of speculation going on in that regard. But you have, groups like that already came into possession of XRP. So all it takes is just flipping that switch, and now we're settling with XRP once again, right? And then, as we talked about yesterday too, there's going to be many avenues for these institutions to get their hands on XRP. There's going to be many ways for Ripple to distribute XRP outside of the US. Just like the talk of the town now, Ripple might IPO outside the US. Ripple can also just go get XRP into the hands of these institutions outside the US as well. Right? There's no reason why these sales have to be conducted with American entities within America. They can all happen overseas. And, if they just happen to have a Swiss custody solution like Mataco, that might be an option, right? Well, you can, if you can't get XRP here in America, just open up an account, set up a Swiss entity, open up an account here with Mataco, as they say, and we'll hold your XRP for you. Or we can lease it through you through ODL leasing. I mean, there's just many ways to go around this. And then my question being too is, with all these exchanges relisting it too, many of these institutions could just be forced to go to the secondary market, which is definitely going to be driving back up that price too. So watch out for that. Now, Charlie Gasparino and others questioning whether or not Brad's going to be able to cut a check, and Ripple going to have to pay a fine. Brad's going to have to cut a check. Oh boy. Well, Brad's a big boy. The current Ripple CEO is Brad Garlinghouse, who owns a reported 6.3% stake in the company Ripple, as well as additional XRP tokens. His net worth, based on the current rate, would be nearly $10 billion, placing him in the mid-50s on Forbes' list of wealthiest Americans. So he's in the top 50 of the Forbes wealthiest Americans. But you also have to remember, too, in this calculation, they are calculating the XRP tokens in his net worth. But in all of the valuations that are being done of Ripple, and the pre-IPO shares that are available on Link2 and other places, they are not calculating in the price of the XRP and escrow. That's the escrow XRP is not being added to the valuation. When Ripple got valued at $10 billion, then they bought back their own shares at a $15 billion valuation. And there's been some other things I can't speak on it recently, but I'll just leave it at that. They're buying it at a valuation that does not include the escrow XRP. So just think about that for a second. They have almost 50 billion in escrow, and at today's price, I mean, you guys can do the math on what that's worth. That's not even being included into their $10-15 billion valuation. And after, the news that XRP is not a security, right, I think we got to go back to the drawing board. We got to go back and check our maths on what this valuation might be. Now, let's continue on here. Leonidas shares this, guys. On July 13th, XRP's volume spiked to 10.4 billion. Even though this seems like a big number, historically, this was XRP's 76th largest daily trading volume recorded on CoinMarketCap. The highest was almost 37 billion on April 6, 2021. We ain't seen nothing yet. Absolutely not. We have a ways to go. And you look back there in 2020 and 2021 was the largest volume days back there, 2020, 2021. Okay. So, we're just getting started with this, guys. I think we have a long ways to go. And people are just frustrated because this has been 2.5 years that we've been waiting. We finally get the breakout, and we're ready to finish this thing. We're ready to be buying our next property, be going on our vacation, doing this and that. The good times are coming, and actually it's going to be incredibly important to have a plan with what you are going to do with those gains. And that's what I'm focusing on right now, is investing in real estate, precious metals, how I'm going to grow my businesses and scale them up using the gains, leveraging my XRP without selling. And then the other thing I'm working on right now too is my checklist for the automated market makers, because I think a lot of people are going to get scammed and put their XRP into bad liquidity pools, Ponzi schemes that are promising them a return. With the hype that comes around AMMs, there's going to be scammers coming out of the woodwork, so we got to stay safe right now, XRP community. And I wanted to wrap up with this one from James Rule XRP. He shares this. We know how much of a fan, Ripple is of the Grateful Dead, and Grateful Dead put out that song Ripple, and I thought this was a good one to end this session on. Ripple, the song, is about making peace with life and finding a path that suits you by learning from the other lost people around you, and of course, embracing the power of joy through music. It's about remembering that we're all in this together, but also that your life is your own to lead. And now this is where I'm at with this whole thing, is I just don't have time for the haters and the naysayers, and there's dudes that are still trying to spread FUD. They're so desperate. It just makes me laugh, and I kind of feel bad for them, because they're going to get left behind. Because like I said, they're not working on growing their business. They're not working on investing in the real estate asset class. They might still own their XRP. Meanwhile, they've built their whole platform off FUDding XRP, and they're still all worried about this and that. And I've seen just some nonsense out there. I'll just leave it at that. So we see all this around us, and for us in the XRP community, the real ones, we just need to focus on our path ahead, continue to double down on what got us here, and focus on where we're going next, because it's going to be absolutely massive. When XRP goes, that is just more fuel to put on our fire that we're already building. We're already stoking that fire, right? And it's about to grow massively as we see liquidity come into this space that hasn't been seen yet. I appreciate all of you guys. If you like this content, make sure to smash that thumbs up for me. Hit that notification bell and subscribe, and everything can be found at my website, ZachRector.com. God bless all of you. I'll see you in the next one.